Big news today. I finished framing the first floor of the house. Very excited. A lot of work. Made a lot of mistakes, learned a lot in the process. Got all this Tyvek up around the OSB, stick frame construction. Oh, it's July 7th and I'm making good progress. My goal is to have the roof on before the end of July. And that'll give me time to start working on the interior and also dry it in before winter, which is always an important thing up here in Alaska. And so if you're new to the channel, I want to thank you for tuning in. If those who have been with me for a while, this has been a major step forward on the progress here on the homestead. And if you are new to the channel, I just want to give you a warning. This channel's not a guide on how to build a house. I'm not an expert in any way. But by all means, please join me on my journey as I learn how to build a house. Mistakes will be made, and I'm having a ton of fun doing it. But yeah, there's better channels to watch if you're looking for a how-to guide on how to do something. But, you know, how I see it, if I can do it, you guys can do it. Big news here on the solar panels. I got 3 more. So I'll work with 9, and actually got another 3 last week. So I'll have 12 for the roof once that's built. Today we are starting the process of wiring the basement. Let me show you some of the progress here. Got the boxes up there. We're using 12 gauge wire. John Cambridge, world famous.
Hello, hello.
Look at this, huh? This is for my laptop. This is where I edit videos for you guys. And then there's my view at the moment. I gotta look outside. So it's important to ground the system. We're hammering this copper pipe about 8 feet down below the frost line. Frost line's 4 feet. The footers are 8 foot down, so just at the foundation.
Nice.
Right?
How long has this been that you're hammering?
Oh, not long, like 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
It's all sand.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, we got lucky. So we were running into problems because I designed a walkout basement, which means I terraformed the land around it to kind of slope in. And obviously it's breakup season, so all the snow and ice is melting all at once. And it's all pooling into the lowest point of my property, which is my walkout basement. So it did flood the basement, so right now we're fixing it. How we're going to do that is, first of all, dig below the frost line, which I've done. And then we're going to fill this hole with gravel and put a sump pump in it with an automatic switch. So when it feels the water, it'll turn on and pump the water out of here. Frozen right there. We have a float. When that goes up, pump turns on. When it's out of water, it turns off. So this is a big day. I just got all of my lumber back home, ordered it from the local sawmill. Take a look here. These are 2x6s, rough cut. And what I'm doing, I'm trimming them up here. You can see with my saw there. Oh, no, I know a lot of you guys might be commenting, oh no, don't use the rough cut lumber. You gotta use kiln dried. You gotta use the stuff you get at Home Depot, for example. Well, here's the thing. I mean, here's my plating and my beams. This is all rough cut. So, but also, okay, so let's go into kiln dry Home Depot wood versus this stuff. Most of this wood is beetle kill. Most of this wood is aged. Most of it's pretty good. Very low in moisture content. Also, it's high quality. So I know you want to think that the Home Depot wood is good, and maybe your Home Depot is very good quality, and you know, I commend them for that. But especially up here in Kenai, the wood's not the best quality. A lot of it is actually wet. You know, I've bought in plenty of wood that's warped, plenty of wood that just loses its shape immediately. Plus, that Home Depot stuff's a lot thinner, poorer quality. The trees that they're getting it from are these tree farms. And no disrespect, it's actually an amazing product. These trees grow really fast. You're talking 10, 20 years, then you can harvest them again, which is an amazing, incredible technology. And, you know, I'll be using plywood and manufactured wood that uses that stuff. But for these beams,
I'm sure you've seen the memes, like, how come they don't build houses like they used to? You know, the wood used to be so tough. Now look at it, it's all crap. So anyway, for a reference, I cut this 2x4 in half. This is Home Depot. This right here, old growth, rough cut lumber. And you can see just the difference here. So that's the thickness difference. You see that? Huge difference. Plus, look at the growth rings in there. Obviously not as many growth rings, way more here. This is all local stuff. And the thing about these spruce trees, most of these are over 100 years old, and we're having this beetle kill problem. They're endemic to the region, but anyway, we have an excess amount of lumber, and so it's very cheap as well. So all of this wood is, I'm basically paying, it's $1 less than the lumber you would get at Home Depot. So for all this, including these beams, big rough cut beams, which are expensive, guys, but I think it was like $3,400 to frame the entire first floor of my house, plus a little bit extra wood for the second floor. So, you know, the money I'm saving is huge. And you know, if I don't like some of these beams or these cuts, these woods, I'm not going to use them, and I can just go buy more. These trees keep the ground cold because they block the sun from hitting the soil, and they maintain an ice age climate on the soil, even though the air temperatures aren't ice age anymore. Or at least we're at the tail end of one. We're technically still in an ice age because there are glaciers. But not to get nitpicky, another thing this soil needs is a lot more biomass, a lot more nutrients. And so that's what the truck is parked here for. This is all horse manure that we got from our friends down in Homer. And look at that, that is filled up to the brim. And so I'm gonna pile this horse manure here, let it sit here all summer. It's too rich right now to do anything with it, burn and kill all the plants. And then in the spring, I'm going to rake it through, put it into this clay soil, and then plant more clover on top of it. And then over a couple of years, this soil should get nice and fertile. And then I'm gonna push the orchard back, take down that side of the fence, push the orchard back, double the orchard in size. And I'm going to take what once was worthless swampland and turn it into beautiful orchard. All right, so I'm building out my headers here, and I'm doing the north wall first. This wall has the least amount of windows. Obviously it faces north, so no reason to put too many over here. So I got 3 headers, 2 40 inchers, 1 16 inch. I'll show you a look at this. Here's my 2x6. This is actually going to be, there we go. It's gonna be this way. King stud will go here. And then these are 10 inches. So 2 inches wide, 10 inches tall. So combined, that's 12-inch header. As you can see here, what I'm doing is laying down the top plating and the bottom plating, and then I'm measuring 16 inches on center all the way down, measuring out where the cripples are going to go, where the headers are going to go for the windows, and I'm marking those with pencils. And I picked up this method from Larry Hahn. He's got a bunch of great YouTube videos and books about how to build a house. So anyway, you nail them down and then you measure them so everything's straight, and then you disassemble them, and then you put together the walls on the floor, and then you raise the walls. So that's the method that I'm using to build my house. right, so my Uncle John's in town. And we got the north wall here just about ready to go up. This is all nailed in. And we're putting in these brace guards just so it doesn't slide off the house, because that would be very bad. So we're gonna hammer those in and then we're gonna lift it. Should be an exciting video here. Why is it called rough cut lumber when it's true to the dimensions, but dimensional lumber is smaller? I know why it's smaller. It shrinks in the kiln drying process, but anyway, the naming conventions seem backwards.
So it was too heavy to lift. So we're going up in stages.
What? No, wait. This is right. Yeah, it's right now. Okay. One is start counting. 2, 3. Oh, no, put it down. Put it down. That's not happening. No. This is 62 inches to the top. We got this blocking, these logs. So we're gonna crank it up another 6 inches. Get it up on single piece logs. You reach a dilemma. Do we go up another 6 inches or do we push it vertical?
Oh shit, no, it's just sliding. No. It just started sliding.
So I was able to get that wall up. I hired a few guys off of Facebook. So thank you very much for coming out here in my time of need. I didn't even have time to set up the camera. It took not even 10 minutes. So that was good. The next step of the process is I'm hiring out a crane truck. I'm gonna get these beams put up with the crane truck. The crane truck comes in 3 days. So that means I'm also gonna build this 40-foot wall, south facing. Gotta build this over the next 3 days. And then when the crane truck comes, we'll put the beams in, and then we'll raise this wall up as well. And so I've laid down my top plates here, double top plates, and my bottom plate there. You can see I've drawn out 16-inch on center, all of my studs, and then this is my king stud and then my trim. Brought a crane truck in to place the beams. Very heavy. A lot of fun. Building the walls was also a lot of fun. Framing walls is a lot heavier than I thought it was going to be. We couldn't get it in close enough. My driveway wasn't big enough. So we tried to lift up the wall from this end. This is a 40-foot wall with rough cut lumber, which is a lot heavier than dimensional lumber like you get at Home Depot. And so basically the wall cracked in half when we tried to lift it. My fault. I wanted to see if it could do it, right? Like, I don't know, I've never done it before. Obviously it couldn't. And so what I did was I extended my driveway. So my driveway is a lot bigger now. I doubled the size of the driveway. We were able to get the crane truck in. Got the through walls up, both of them. That's south and then north behind me. The crane truck guys surprised me, came over, and so I didn't have time to get the camera up. I'm screwing together all my construction. So with screws, everything's holding together a lot better. So anyway, I got these shorter walls up. I lifted this one over here, and now I'm just building it in place. You can see these vertical posts. So I'm building it in place, and I'm just going to do that for these short walls now. Only have a couple of windows and doors to put in them. And I looked online, and I guess this is a really old way of building houses and a very inefficient way of doing it, but it still works. The end result will be just as strong. So that's how I'm doing it. So I got all of the first floor framed as of now. I'm pretty happy about it. All 4 walls went up. Can't say without a hitch, but I got them up. I will say these vertical walls here, building those in place is very inefficient. Took me an entire day just to get this little half a wall up, because I'm wrestling with the lumber, keep maintaining its straightness, and then, you know, I have to pick the headers up, walk them up the ladder, place them, screw it together, and then when I put the top plates on, I need to straighten all the wood out. And so it's kind of a lot of work, to be honest with you guys. And I wouldn't recommend it, but a couple of reasons why I did it. Number one, I'm alone, so it's hard for me to lift walls. But number two, see that beam up there? I got that beam tied into the double top plate. So I was kind of going back and forth of how I should do it. I was originally thinking the beam would be on top of the double top plate, but I decided to just tie it all together, so that actually makes the structure a lot more stable, but it does prevent me from, you know, building the wall in one piece and raising it. I have to build it standing in place. But lucky for me, these are just these butt walls, and then above it is going to be a rake wall, so not load bearing other than the windows and the doors that are in it. So that kind of gives me a little bit of peace of mind, as opposed to these through walls here behind me where the floor joists are going to be sitting on. A 10-foot walls, got the windows here, and then this side here is the view, and so big windows for the kitchen, big 8-foot windows there. I don't have the money to fill all these windows with glass this year, so I'm going to just use plywood, fill them up, insulate it. I'll try to get one up here, depends on the budget. These are hazelnut trees, and hazelnut trees supposedly grow really well up here. There's a guy up in Palmer, I want to say. Everything's Anchorage to me if you live within a close distance to Anchorage. So up in the city where everybody lives in Alaska, this guy has been able to propagate hazelnut trees up here from North Dakota, and they're doing really well. These are year 2. I just bought them, I just planted them this year, but you can see these are going to do really well, so I think I'll be able to get hazelnuts. Now I still got a lot of shagbark, hickory, and sugar maple here, so I'm experimenting with some deciduous trees that'll produce value and become a crop basically for me. Yeah, that's a really healthy one. That one, I hope, makes it through the winter. I want the roots to grow deep. These potatoes are doing awesome. These are all potatoes, and potatoes do really well. We have sandy soil, so that's been really good. I've been trying to propagate clover throughout the whole yard. In my head I was gonna have a big clover yard to look like Ireland. In reality it kind of looks like this. Here's some clover here, right? So maybe in a couple of years, but you know, it's working. There is clover. Take a look at the apple trees, everybody's favorite. We got 40 of them here. This one's looking really healthy. I lost 5 this spring total. And so here's one of the ones that I lost. I replaced all the other ones, but you can see this graft died. It froze or dried out, but right here, this is the root stock. And so the root stock is still healthy, which is good. I can graft a new tree on next year. So that's nice, but you know, these trees are looking really good. This is where the moose try to break in. A moose try to break into the apple orchard. I'm so lucky I built a fence. These are blueberries. This is a commercial variety, the biggest commercial variety that's cold hardy. I guess the size of a quarter is what I was sold on. Now it's only one plant because they don't. Blueberries are hard to grow. You have to have the right soil, of which I do, and I know I do because I transplanted these wild blueberries here from behind the property. They grow in the same exact soil that I have, and so I transplanted a bunch of these. Not all of them are gonna live, but I got a lot in there, so I'm hoping for a couple of these bushes to make it through, and then cross-pollinate with that commercial variety, and then see if I can't get a cold hardy blueberry that's big, because the native ones are really small. It's another experiment. We'll see what happens with that, but that's a couple years down the road. Pretty exciting. Loving the process of building a house. There's a lot of stuff I don't know, which is awesome, which is exciting, and so I just kind of take it day by day, one step at a time, and eventually I'll have the roof that I believe, I have faith that the process will work. And so summer's dragging on here in Alaska, which I'm grateful for. It's been a nice dry summer, which it has not been dry the last 2 years. So this is like a freak summer, and I'm very happy about it. It's a perfect summer to build a house. So if you like that video, share, like, subscribe. I'll post another one once I get the roof up. Then maybe I got a couple of hunts coming up, so I'm not going to post any more unsuccessful hunts. People don't like those. I don't blame them. But I do hunt a lot, guys. And most of those videos don't make it to YouTube. In fact, most of the stuff I do doesn't make it to YouTube because it's not exciting. So I only post the exciting stuff. Share, like, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later.